everyone, it's Vicky. So today I'm working on a new journal. This is going to be my sunflower journal. I've had this kit printed out and waiting for a very long time. I used an Artie Mays kit, and some of the elements she offered for free, and then some of them you would need to go and buy from her Etsy store or her online store. The outside cover, I am using some wallpaper. It's from a wallpaper sample book, and the inside cover, that yellow that you can see, is from a bubble envelope. So I peeled off the parts that I didn't want to use, the bubbles and all of that, and I've trimmed it down to size, and it makes a great coordinating paper for my signatures. And I'm just using a glue stick to hold it down. I am going to put it through the sewing machine, so if you're not going to be sewing, you'll need to use a stronger glue. And I've purposely left all that black writing right at the front when I open my journal so I can see it. Now when I'm folding, I'm giving myself a 1 centimeter span. I didn't measure it, it's just kind of eyeballed it, but I've got 2 signatures to go in there, so I didn't want to just bend it in half. I needed a bit of space there. And now I'm just going to get that pocket a bit smaller because I feel like it's just a bit too big. So I've sewn it on the sewing machine, and I always hear people saying on their videos that there was black thread in their machine and they didn't feel like changing it. And I always used to think, why can't you just change your thread? But that was me today. I had black thread in the sewing machine and I didn't feel like rethreading it. I don't normally sew with black thread on my books and on my papers, but it's something different and it's always good to try something new. And here I'm just gluing some washi tape down the spine. It's got adhesive on it, but I'm just making sure it sticks, and I'm using a glue stick. And that's just to strengthen my spine because I'm going to be sewing my signatures down. You can see it matches really well, so I might need to use that in the journal as well. So now I'm going to bend the journal in half. You'll see I'm doing it here, and that's to find that middle point so I can punch a hole. I'm going to do both at the same time so I get them in the right place. And I've got some gold eyelets. I'm just going to put those in those holes and strengthen that. And I need to go and find a ribbon or a lace or something that will coordinate with the cover and thread it through these, and that will hold my journal closed. So I'm going to tie it closed when I'm done. So now I've got my signatures, and you can see I've got a lovely combination of papers. I'm using papers from Artie Mays, and I'm using a printable that I found on a website called cutefreebies.com. It's like a dot grid paper with sunflowers on it. And then I've also got this pile of odds and ends. So I've got some carrots there. That was an advert from Tesco. It came in the mail last year. It's got my address on the back, so I'm just gluing it onto a piece of Avo dyed paper, and I'm going to have that already backed in my journal. There was also sticky residue on it which I wanted to cover up. And I've got some magazine papers in there, and you'll just see how I trim them to size. I am going to use all the bits that I've cut off as well. So there's the word June there that I am going to be using, but I don't want to use it right now because we're still in May. And you see, I don't fold it exactly in half. It's got some writing on it, so I've folded it so you can see the writing on one page and mostly flowers on the other page. So these are all little things that I found and I've saved, thinking I need to use them, and these are just pictures that make me think of summer. So that's a beautiful picture of some cosmos there, and it isn't a sunflower, but it will go well in a summery journal. And I'm not going to do anything to the back of those pages, because as I get to those pages in my journal, then I will decorate them. And this was an advert from somewhere, and it had bees, and I quite like that yellow. And these are some little papers that I've just found, and I just thought I need to use some of these. That's some Avo dyed paper. And this yellow paper came wrapped around some flowers. So often when you buy flowers at the shops, they come wrapped in plastic, and inside the plastic they normally have a layer of paper. And often that paper is not wet, it's not damaged, and so whenever I get flowers like that, I save the paper. I'm not sure when I got this paper, but that's where that came from. So it's not tissue paper, but it is thinner than regular paper. And now I've divided up those papers that you just saw me sorting through, and I've divided them in two piles, and I'm trying to slot them into my two signatures that I've already made. So I'm trying to just make it flow and get the right colors in, and some of them are not the right colors, so just took a bit of juggling to get them all in the right place. Now I printed half of these papers, so I've printed the Artie Maze set at least twice. Half of them were printed on an inkjet that was running out of ink, and the other half were printed on a laser printer. So some of them look nice and crisp, and some of them look more muted, and some of them look quite pink. And that was because of my lack of ink. And now I'm just juggling those papers around because I wanted those sunflowers right in the front when I open my journal. And now I've made little templates. I'm folding this paper in half and then folding those two halves in half. And I'm cutting the corners with a pair of scissors because I didn't have a pen right there. But you could mark it with a pen as well. I think I did get a pen after this. So you'll see when I open it up now, I've marked my signature holes and everything. So now I'm marking 2 holes on my spine. There I've got the pencil. And 2 there and 2 at the bottom. And I am using that very sharp pair of scissors next to me to poke out my holes. I've got other tools, but those were nearby. And I'm going to use that same template now to mark the center of my signature. And I'm going to use those same sharp scissors to poke out those holes. And you just have to make sure at this point that you're sewing your signature in the right way and not upside down, otherwise you're going to be doing it again. I'm using a very large needle, I think it's a carpet needle, and I'm using crochet thread or crochet cotton, and I'm sewing through twice. So I'm not doing a pamphlet stitch, I've just got the 2 holes, I don't have 3 holes, and I'm just going through once and then I'll go through that same section again just to hold it down really tight. And there you can see that dot grid paper that I printed from cutefreebies.com. I really like that paper. So I'm giving it like a double knot here, and then I'm going to tie it into a bow. I wouldn't tie it in a bow on its own because I don't think it would hold it. And I think you could put a dot of glue over that as well if you needed to. So there's my first signature, and I've done the exact same thing with my second signature, and now I'm just at the end part. And that's that carrot paper that I was folding earlier on in the middle. And there's my journal. So I'm giving it a bit of a bend just to make sure those signatures kind of stay the way they're supposed to. They like to puff out once you've like opened them to the middle. They want to like stay open. So I'm flipping through some of the pages, but I do get distracted and I stop here. So sorry about that. But all the pages are very similar. I've got quite a lot of blank pages. I'm thinking I will use those and fill them up as I get to them. So I don't want to decorate everything now. And now I am finding things. So first is that nice red label. I glued that down. And this is really fun. This is a bag of crisps or chips. And they always have such fun pictures on these crisp packets. So if I can get hold of them, I do. I wash them out and I keep them. And this one has got 3 ladies, and the one lady is holding a cheese. The one lady looks so cheerful on the side, and every time I see this picture it makes me smile. So these ladies are going right at the front of my journal, and I am attaching this with double-sided tape because glue will not hold that plasticky packet onto my wallpaper. And now I am decorating my cover, so I'm using a piece of brown paper bag and some music paper, and that piece that's got a sunflower on it, that's made of an envelope, and it's folded up and decorated, and that printable that I used was Artimaze. And I'm going to be gluing that sunflower part down in a U shape so I can tuck things in the back and the front. And I haven't got anything to tuck in there yet, but as the month progresses I will be able to. And I'm really enjoying this journal already. I love the colors, I love the cheerfulness of the sunflowers. So I hope you will join me as I decorate it. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your day. Bye.